In this video, we're going to show you exactly how to set up Gmail templates and autoresponders so that you can make your hiring process easy. And with that, it's time to make it easy. So at the end of this training, here are a couple of these actions you'll be confident in taking, and that is using Gmail to set up the templates for both the canned auto responses and for the quick replies to candidates. You'll also understand the 8 unique templates for each role that you're going to hire for that you need to create, or you can choose the Made Easy button below and get everything at howtohirevirtualassistants.com. Nice plug. All right, so keep in mind that the templates to create for each of these roles are going to be the canned auto responses. Now that is specifically reserved for once you post a job ad. You're gonna get a lot, especially if you're using this system and you're posting job ads that win, linked in the description below if you haven't seen that video yet, a lot of responses to the tune of, even in one of the job posts that we recently made, over the course of 3 days, we got over 1,000 hits. And we had a lot of emails pouring into our inbox as a result. So this is an automatic response to those emails. You're going to set up a template and we're going to show you how to do it. But that's just one of 8. The other one is a post resume review response. That's got to be unique to each one of these roles that you're hiring for. And that's just going to set the stage for what that candidate should expect moving forward in the hiring process, so that there's no mystery to where they're at in the process. Should they make it to the final interview, they're going to know exactly what's coming up next, and that creates a stellar candidate experience. And that's exactly what you want to do, in addition to having great interviews, which we're going to talk about in a future video. That is how you get candidates that win to stick around long-term to grow your business, and that is how you can hire once using this system, because with it, you'll hire right. We're also going to talk about the invitation to interview, number 1, and posting that. That's one thing you need to consider. You also want to make sure that you have the not extending interview responses, an invitation to interview number 2. That's a template that you're going to use to manually send out, but it's already geared up in the chute, ready to go. And by you, if you're following this system, all of these are going to be performed by your executive assistant or the person you put in place. I do understand that for some of you, that executive assistant might just be you for now. It was for me when we first started building this particular business, and that is okay. Also, you can see here on the screen, disposition letters after interview 1, a disposition letter after interview 2, to just give you a highlight on what that is. It is a really nice way of saying it's a rejection letter. There are different types of rejection letters that we send out. One is we invite you to reapply in the future because you were a great candidate, but let's say you had 5 people, but you were only hiring 1 or 2 of those people, and all 5 of the candidates, or maybe 4 of them, were rock star candidates that in the future you would love to be able to hire, but you just chose somebody else. That's what you want to have ready to go, the verbiage for that, so that you give the candidate a very good experience through the entire process of hiring. Whether or not you actually choose to hire them now, you can offer them potentially to have that opportunity in the future. And then of course, offer letters. Having this out and as a template really expedites this process. I can't tell you, and maybe you have experienced this too, how many times I've been on an interview and I wanted to hire somebody and I said, okay, well, we'll get you out an official offer because we've negotiated on price. We're not going to normally talk price on that particular interview, but as far as the second interview, determining what we will pay and also giving them an offer. We end the second interview and then we tell them we'll follow up with them with our decision. And that then with the offer letter will include what we've been able to budget based off of our conversation. And we're definitely going to be sharing more of that in a future video where we talk more in depth in a different chapter about the interviews themselves. Right now, we're talking about the second interview where we would offer somebody a position. But these are all templates that you want already written. And again, you can write these. We're going to go over some of them so that you can take this training and come up with this stuff yourself. There is also the Made Easy button at howtohirevirtualassistants.com. All that said, let's get right into the automations, how to create them and set them up, and the templates live right now. So I'm going to share my screen over here. So I have a relatively new and clear inbox here to show you that no matter where you are, if you just set up a Gmail account, which you can for free to do this automation inside of Gmail and set up these templates inside of Gmail, you can do that and it's pretty user-friendly to do. I'm going to walk you through, and the context to this is You're at the stage now after having implemented these when you get these responses. So we have over 1,000 hits. We have 14 applicants that did it incorrectly because we actually ask in the job post to read it all the way through, and then we ask them to compose an email that specifically has a title that we're going to use to set up this canned response automation. So your search is over. I am your assistant video editor. And that's in the job posts, which for all of the 4 key hiring positions you can get, again, that we discussed at howtohirevirtualassistants.com. Now, with that said, that's all we need to really cover on the site. Just know that the reason we're going to be setting up the template with that title in mind is because every email that comes in for whatever role it is, that was a video editor, but we have a couple samples of the phone sales here that we're going to go through in a second so that you can recreate these if you'd like to. But we want to make sure that it's set up in a way, if they're doing it right based off of your job ad, that email is going to come in with the exact title, and then it's going to get filtered appropriately, and those canned responses are going to go out the way that they should go out, and it's going to make it a lot easier for you. So following instructions will get them to the next stage, essentially. So when it comes to actually creating these templates, there's really 2 steps. And if it's a brand new Gmail account or you've never set up this before, you want to go here to the upper right-hand corner to settings, and then you want to click on see all settings. And then you'll click on this advanced button still here in the upper right-hand corner, and then come down here to click enable on templates. You want to make sure that after you click enable, you come down here and you click save changes, because it will not save unless you actually click save changes. And then once you do click save, you're taken right back to your inbox where you can now create the email templates to auto reply, as well as the templates themselves that you'll manually queue up as quick replies, whether it's you or what we recommend your executive assistant to do that. And now I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So to create a template in general, what you want to do is click on compose. And then I have, as it turns out, a canned response. Now, I mentioned these canned responses. And this is something that, you can pause the screen and write this down if you want. Or again, like I said, you can purchase this stuff to help support the channel at howtohirevirtualassistants.com. But this is one that I would just recommend you would take, you copy it, and then we'll go back over here and we'll paste it. And this is role specific. You want to change these for each role. So let's just say I was hiring somebody for the phone sales. So I'm going to say, thank you for applying to the phone sales role with REI Made Easy. Now that title's not going to show up if it's just directly responding to somebody in a chain, but if for whatever reason I wanted to send that email off as just a manual template, then that's the title that's going to show up. Once you have this all edited, you want to make sure that you fit it to whatever role it was. Thank you so much for your interest in the phone sales position or role with REI Made Easy. You get the picture. Just copy this and then paste it in there and then edit it to your specifications. Once you're done with that, there is one thing to note. If you have an email signature, you want to delete it from here because it'll automatically be there already once you pull it up, right? So that is to say, if you have a preset signature for every email that you compose that populates, if you add an email signature to your actual template, then what's going to happen is you'll be left with 2 email signatures. So I would recommend your choice, do either one that you want. If you do have a signature that's automatically on, just make sure that you don't include that email signature under here. But then what you want to do to save this as a template is just go to templates, and then you want to go to save draft as template, and then go to save as new template, and then you're going to name it. Now, whatever you title this template, whatever you name it, it's going to be the name of that template. I would suggest that you number these. We talk about hiring an EA is usually your first position because that's the person that's going to be doing all of this work as opposed to you. So if that's what you're doing, if this were an EA, it'd be 01. If it's a phone sales for a cold caller, then it's going to be 02. So in this case, it'll be 02, phone sales, and then it's going to be the canned response. And then I'll just put that little line through it so that once I do save this, if I'm ready to send this out, for example, as a response that is manual, what's going to happen is it'll automatically populate the subject line, and I'll share with you that really quickly, right like that. And then all I have to do is take this, and then I can click send once I have the recipient, right? Or if it's a reply to an email, I can also do the same thing and then not worry about creating a new subject line. And that is how you create the template. Now, to create the auto reply function for the specific titles of those jobs that I had shown you a little bit earlier, you want to come up here to this search in mail option, and you want to click these show search options. Now, what you want to do is come down here to the subject line, and then we'll go ahead and put the subject line is exactly as you did in the job ad. So I'll put, I am your phone sales rep, hire me. So let's say that this was exactly what you wrote in your job ad. Then you want to just save that, click create filter, and this is how you'll save it, and then choose send template, and then choose that canned template to send it, and then choose create filter. So that is now a filter that's created and a filter that's saved. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a different email, and I'm over here in another email right now. So I'm going to send to myself an email with that exact title. And we ask in every single one of these job ads for them to go into whatever email they have that they use regularly outside of onlinejobs.ph to send us an email with the subject line as exactly as we put it, so that this function can actually happen. So I'm going to click send, and we're going to see this email come through here in just a moment. So we saw that email pop up. It says from my other email address that I've just written this and sent it. You can see it says, I am your phone sales rep, hire me, choose me. I did a good job testing this out. Now, you know already by this number 2 that there are 2 conversations, and that is because it worked instantaneously. So 0 minutes ago, you can see that this reply automatically went out. It says, thank you so much for your interest in phone sales. And of course, whatever edits you would have made, I didn't select for a signature to be in there, so it didn't populate, but you can certainly do that like this. This is the auto signature for Lazarus Property Group. So all that said, it's a very simple process to follow. The part that could be cumbersome is when I say you really should be creating 8 of these for each role. This is the reason why. We talked about this a little bit, and that is to create a really good experience for a quality candidate. That's how you get quality candidates attracted to your company, when you have these types of automations set in place and you're not waiting to check your email and they're not waiting for you to do that to get back to them. So it's really as simple as that to set up these autoresponder templates. Now we've talked about how to do the template setup and how to do the autoresponders. Just repeat that process for every role. What we haven't shared yet is what I promised, and that is just to go over some of these 8 actual canned responses or templates that you should create. We already showed you this. We copied and pasted it. And this is the automatic one that will go out to whatever applicant as you customize this per role. And for the phone sales, there's a couple of critical considerations here that you want to make sure you include. Of course, this is one of the deliverables that you can get if you actually purchase the deliverables that you can also recreate if you'd rather do that. But the premise here is you just want to thank them for their interest. You want them to know that you appreciate their patience and that we're going to get back to them, and let them know that this is after you've quickly reviewed their resume. Initially, everything else looks good. These are the 3 critical questions, at least 3, there's 4 of them here, that you absolutely have to include in every single one. And because it's a phone sales role, we also ask them to provide us with a sample of themselves on the phone. But number 1, it's, hey, we're in this time zone. Is that okay with you? It's got to be a yes, because that's when we're going to be calling people who are potential sellers in the real estate investing industry. And then, should you be offered the position, we'll begin on a part-time basis, a trial basis that lasts 3 months or less, and then it will turn into a full-time position. And it's or less, right? So we just want our staff to know that we're going to give them flexibility. They could go full-time sooner. We have a lot of different cold callers, just like we have a lot of different text message marketers, the SMS sales. We may have a lot of employees, but I put them on a part-time basis first, just as a trial period. And then even though I advertise the job as full-time, because it can be full-time right away, there's still this probationary period, if you will, to make sure that they truly are a good fit, even if they've gone through the entire process and really impressed us and we offered them a position. And then of course, this is the very start of, I should say, negotiating the salary. So don't skip this step. We got to ask the question, what is your starting salary requirement for this entry-level role? What is your hourly rate? The reason we ask is because in addition to skills and experience, hiring decisions will be made based on growth potential. We promote from within and provide performance-based raises and bonuses. So we want to put ourselves in a position to make this as simple as possible for them to tell us what they actually need. And we do this on the second interview. And we do have a salary negotiation guide that you actually get with the top tier of the system that you can check out if you're interested in that. That'll teach you a little bit more about how we do that, as well as sample interviews that you can get of us just literally going through this process with every single one of these candidates, the phone sales, the SMS sales rep, and all that stuff. And this is the one of three that are critical for you to ask. Not only do we want to make sure they can work in our time zone, not only do we want to make sure they're okay with a part-time trial basis to then go to full-time, but we absolutely want them to tell us what their salary requirements are. And if it's an entry-level role, then definitely put it's an entry-level role and ask them what their hourly rate is. Let them know that you promote within and that you provide performance-based bonuses, because if the cap for a manager in that position is $7 an hour and they are kind of junior in the role, doesn't mean you don't want to hire them. It means that you want to help create that manager out of them and then give them as many regular raises and bonuses as you possibly can. And speaking of bonuses and PTO and benefits and all that stuff, just know we have a training all about critical considerations that you need to know when hiring virtual assistants. And that comes directly after the number one place we discuss where we hire virtual assistants from, and that is onlinejobs.ph. I recommend that you check it out if you're interested in that, and you can find that linked in the description below, as well as an affiliate link if you want to use it to support the channel for onlinejobs.ph. But all that said, you just want to, what we tell them is, hey, please check out our channel and subscribe to our channel and then research our company more. For you, this could just be as simple as check out our company website to do a little bit more research on our company so that you're prepared when you come to the interview. We just want to make sure that the candidates who are seeking employment with us are actually vetting us too. We encourage that even on the first interview. And we say in the first interview, which we'll get into in a future training, we say, hey, we want you to look at this as a time for you to interview whether or not we would be a good fit for you, not just us looking at you being a good fit for us. So you want to make sure you set that precedent, and we'll cover that in a future training. Now, one of the next ones here is an invitation to interview. You just want to give them a really nice, hey, we've reviewed your application and we're really excited to invite you to a first round of interviews because your qualifications look good on paper. We want to get to know you a little bit more and see if we actually are a good fit. So that's the initially everything looks good kind of thing. And then of course, there's a couple other ones to create, and that is email response number 2. That is if you're not going to be interviewing them, and you just let them know we're still reviewing applicants at the moment, and I'll keep yours on file for future reference. If we decide to move forward with an interview, I'll reach out to schedule a time that works best for both of us. Kind of letting them down easy. As I promised, we'd go through some of these. We've gone through most of them already. Just know the invitation to interview, it's pretty self-explanatory. You're going to want to have this as a quick reply, and you want it unique to each one of these roles that you're prepared to hire for. The point here is to get your systems in a row before you actually post your jobs. Get all of this stuff together so that it'll be easy for you, and you're not going to say, crap, I forgot to follow up with that one person. I really liked them. I hope they're still interested. Although you might not be as busy, although we as entrepreneurs are busy, this is definitely true. You don't want to find yourself in a position where you're vetting a bunch of candidates if you didn't hire that EA first, and then you're not able to follow up with a quality candidate in time, and then now they're working for somebody else and you're just out of luck. So that's why we encourage you to do that. We're going to get into the action items now, but there was one more thing I wanted to invite you to, and that's a free resource guide for business growth, the 5 must-implement tools for real estate investing for your business scale. It's going to give you a 5,000-foot overview of this entire system, as well as our entire system from data to deal and how we actually generate high-quality motivated seller leads, not just how we hire. So check that out if you want at reime.us. Your action items are as follows. Go ahead and get to work setting up your email templates, set up your autoresponders. Remember, your job ad should be live already. If you haven't actually posted that, you can go check out the other video where we talked about exactly how to post that job ad. And the introduction to that was, you might think it's obvious, but there's a couple key considerations. So you're definitely going to want to see that. And then, of course, you want to continue to the next lesson where we're going to talk about setting up scheduling question sets for further vetting. And that is a critical piece that you absolutely don't want to miss. So to check that out, just go ahead and click this video right here where we're going to make it easy, because that's what time it is. And I bought a shirt. So go ahead and click right there and we'll see you in that video.